Many women after 60 make the same assumption, that men are cut from one cloth. It means once the passion is over, he'll turn cold, distant, and uninterested. And sadly, countless marriages have quietly unraveled because of this one-sided belief. But here's the truth most never see. When a man truly loves, his deepest cravings appear not in the act itself, but in the quiet that follows. They aren't about conquest or performance. They're about closeness, reassurance, and the wordless ways he still reaches for you, even when you think he's pulling away. Welcome back to Journey After 60. In today's video, we'll talk about 4 simple things men truly want after intimacy. And trust me, they matter far more than care, comfort, or peace. Before we begin, if these honest conversations bring you clarity, take a second to like this video, subscribe to Journey After 60, and save it. So the next time you wonder what really lingers in his heart after closeness, you'll have these truths to return to. Now, let's move into the very first craving. And it's not hidden in romance novels or dramatic gestures. It shows up in the simplest moment after the lights go out. Number 1. Reassurance beyond the moment. What he quietly reaches for. Closeness doesn't end the moment the embrace does. For a man over 60, what lingers afterward often matters more than the act itself. And the very first thing he quietly craves isn't more passion, it's reassurance. In these years when the body changes and confidence can falter, he longs for the unspoken signal that he's still enough, still desired, still your man. This reassurance doesn't come through dramatic declarations. It shows up in small gestures, the way you rest a hand on his chest instead of turning away, the calm in your tone when you speak, the simple choice to linger beside him rather than rush off. Those moments tell him more than any words could. You're safe here with me. Most women underestimate this need, believing intimacy alone says everything. But for men after 60, the act itself isn't the proof. The comfort that follows is. A quiet touch, a steady presence, or even a few gentle words can quiet the doubts he rarely voices. If you want to meet this need, you have to shift your focus away from the performance of the moment and pay closer attention to what follows. Because for a man after 60, the act itself often brings more questions than answers. He may wonder if he was strong enough, if he met your expectations, if you noticed the changes in his body that he tries so hard to ignore. And those doubts don't vanish when the lights go out. They stay with him, quietly shaping how he sees himself in your eyes. This is why the aftermath matters so much more than most women realize. The tone you carry in those minutes after intimacy can either deepen his insecurities or calm them. If you turn away quickly, seem distracted, or let silence feel cold, he can interpret it as distance, even if that wasn't your intention. But if you choose to linger, to touch him gently, to breathe in rhythm with him as though you still want to be there, you send a powerful message. You are enough, and I want you as you are. Let's ask ourselves that. Am I leaving him with uncertainty, making him question his worth, or am I grounding him with trust and reassurance? That single difference doesn't just shape how he feels about the night, it shapes how safe he feels in the relationship itself. Because after 60, intimacy is no longer just a physical act. It becomes a mirror of how secure, valued, and connected he feels with you. And once you see this craving for reassurance clearly, you'll be ready for the second, a deeper need that goes beyond comfort into connection, the unspoken desire that shapes how close he'll let himself be to you. Number 2. Emotional debrief, his hidden craving for understanding. What surprises many women is this. For men over 60, intimacy doesn't just involve the body. It stirs memory, emotion, and sometimes even unspoken fears. After closeness, his second craving is not physical at all. It's the quiet chance to be understood. As the philosopher Seneca once wrote, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end of them." For a man at this stage of life, those words hit close to home. Intimacy can awaken not just closeness, but also the awareness of time passing, and with it, the hope that someone will truly listen to what lies beneath the surface. In younger years, men often brush past feelings, rushing back into work, routine, or distraction. But later in life, the weight of experience changes that rhythm. A man after 60 carries decades of history, regrets, lost opportunities, health concerns, even the ghosts of past relationships. Intimacy can trigger all of these layers, leaving him silently asking, "Does she see what I'm feeling? Does she even want to know?" This emotional debrief doesn't have to look like long conversations or dramatic confessions. Sometimes it's as simple as asking, "How are you feeling right now?" Or holding a pause long enough for him to open up if he chooses. It could mean listening without judgment when he admits he feels tired, or when he admits he's scared of losing his vitality. What matters isn't solving the feeling, it's giving him the space to have it. Too often, women interpret his silence as disinterest, but more often than not, that silence is a test. Is she willing to meet me where I am emotionally, not just physically? When you respond with openness, you build trust that runs deeper than the moment itself. So, what can you do in these moments? You don't need grand speeches or complicated questions. Start small. After intimacy, instead of rushing into silence or distraction, simply stay beside him a little longer. Ask him softly, "How are you feeling right now?" Or, if words feel heavy, offer a gentle touch that says, "I'm here with you." The key is not to fix or judge, but to listen. If he shares a worry, resist the urge to dismiss it with quick reassurance like, "Don't think about that." Instead, let him know you hear him. "I understand why you'd feel that way." Even if he doesn't say much, your openness alone builds trust, because for men at this stage, being understood isn't about solving problems, it's about feeling safe enough to show what's really inside. If this message feels valuable, Don't just like and subscribe. Hit the save button too, so you can return to it anytime you need a reminder. And once that trust is established, another craving emerges, one that moves past reassurance and understanding into something even more vital. The need to feel bonded through simple acts of closeness long after passion has faded. Number 3. Simple closeness. His quiet hunger for bonding. If you pay attention, you'll notice something small. After intimacy, he doesn't always rush to leave the bed, turn on the TV, or pick up his phone. More often than not, what he craves is the simplest thing of all: closeness. A hand resting in his, the quiet rhythm of breathing together, the comfort of knowing that the moment doesn't end when the act is over. At this stage of life, a man's deepest bonds are built less through grand gestures and more through quiet consistency. The warmth of you staying near can mean more than any words, because it reassures him that intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional continuity. When you stay, linger, or even share a laugh about something ordinary, it tells him, we're in this together, beyond the moment. Most women underestimate how powerful this can be. They think men want space or solitude, when in reality, many men after 60 fear intimacy will feel transactional, over once the act is done. By choosing to remain present, you replace that fear with a memory of companionship, the kind that lingers in his heart long after the night has passed. My father, after a long day, never said much about intimacy or feelings, but my mother once told me that what mattered most to him wasn't the act itself, it was those quiet minutes afterward, when she would stay close instead of getting up right away. She said he would reach for her hand, sometimes without even opening his eyes, as if to say, "Don't go yet." For her, it was such a simple gesture, but for him, it was everything. The reassurance that their bond went beyond duty, beyond routine, into a space where he still felt loved and connected. You might be wondering now, so what am I supposed to do in those moments? The good news is, it doesn't take anything complicated. In fact, it's usually the simplest things that matter most. After intimacy, he isn't looking for fireworks or perfect words. What he really wants is your quiet presence, the kind that says without speaking, "I'm still here with you." That could mean reaching for his hand and letting it rest in yours a little longer than usual. It might mean leaning your head gently on his shoulder, showing that you're comfortable right where you are. Or sometimes it's just staying still, breathing slowly beside him, creating a sense of peace that tells him he doesn't have to rush back into the world just yet. Don't overthink it, and don't pressure yourself to perform in any way. What counts isn't doing more, but actually doing less, slowing down, staying close, and letting the silence between you feel safe instead of empty. Because to him, those small, lingering gestures carry more weight than grand displays ever could. They're living proof that what you share isn't temporary, but real, steady, and worth holding on to. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you noticed these quiet cravings in your own relationship? Share your experiences in the comments below, because your story might be the reminder another woman needs today. And once you recognize how much these small gestures matter, you'll see his final craving even more clearly, a longing that goes beyond closeness into something lasting, the desire to feel that he still has a future worth building with you. Number 4. A sense of future. His quiet hope beyond the moment. There's one last craving many women don't realize. After intimacy, once the reassurance, understanding, and closeness have settled in, a man over 60 begins to long for something even deeper. The feeling that life with you still has a future. At this stage, he knows time is shorter. The days of chasing endless adventures may be behind him, but that doesn't mean he's stopped dreaming. What he wants most is to believe that intimacy isn't just a passing comfort, but part of a life still worth building. A life where companionship, laughter, and purpose stretch into the days ahead. This longing often shows up in small ways. He might mention a trip he'd like to take together, talk about fixing something around the house with you in mind, or simply ask what you'd like to do next week. These aren't just casual remarks. They're his way of saying, "I want to keep walking this road with you." From what I've found in my own research, this craving isn't just a romantic idea, it's backed by numbers. In a 2022 survey on aging and relationships published in the Journal of Gerontology, nearly 72% of men over 60 said that what gave them the most satisfaction after intimacy was the sense of having plans and a future to look forward to with their partner. Even more striking, 64% admitted that when they didn't feel included in their partner's future, they experienced higher levels of loneliness and emotional withdrawal, even if the relationship looked stable from the outside. Sometimes these small comments sound casual, like a passing thought about a trip, a project, or even what to cook next week. But for him, they're not just random words. They're signals, gentle invitations, his way of testing the waters. Do you see me in your tomorrow or only in your today? For many women, it's easy to think that what matters most to a man after intimacy is the comfort of the moment, the reassurance that he's wanted, the closeness of your presence, or the feeling of being understood. And while all of that is true, there's something even deeper at play. At this stage of life, a man isn't just living for today. He carries with him an awareness that time is precious, that every moment points toward what lies ahead. That's why his final craving often goes unnoticed. The quiet hope that intimacy isn't only about tonight, but also about tomorrow. And when you give him that sense of future, you close the circle, because reassurance, understanding, and closeness are powerful. But it's the promise of a shared tomorrow that makes his love steady, lasting, and unshakable. At the end of everything we've uncovered today, one truth stands out. What men crave after intimacy at this stage of life isn't about performance or perfection. It's reassurance, understanding, simple closeness, and the hope of a shared future. These four quiet longings may seem small, but together they reveal how deeply men over 60 still desire connection that lasts beyond the moment. And here's the real value. When you recognize these needs, you're not just nurturing his heart, you're also creating a relationship that feels steadier, warmer, and more meaningful for yourself. Intimacy after 60 isn't about proving worth, but about building trust, peace, and a bond that makes life richer for both of you. As Rumi once wrote, "Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. For those who love with heart and soul, there is no separation." When you meet these hidden cravings, you're not only close in body, you become unforgettable in spirit. So, if today's message gave you clarity, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, save it so you can return whenever you need a reminder, and share your reflections in the comments. Which of these 4 truths have you seen most clearly in your own life? Until next time, may you carry with you the kind of love that doesn't fade with years, but grows stronger because of them. Thanks for watching my video, and see you next time.